Alright, so this is a story I didn't think I'd ever have to tell. But here we are. Last month, we threw a birthday party for our son Max. He just turned 8. We had the whole thing set up in the backyard. Balloons, pizza, cupcakes, even a guy in a rented SpongeBob costume. It was one of those warm Saturdays that feels like summer even though it's technically spring. Everything looked normal. Kids were laughing, running around. I was at the grill flipping burgers, wearing my dumb grill dad apron. My wife, Lauren, was inside helping with snacks or whatever. At least, that's what she told me. But something just felt off. I don't know how to explain it, but when your gut starts tapping you on the shoulder, you pay attention. And mine. It was screaming. About 30 minutes into the party, this guy shows up. Tall dude. Late 30s maybe. Dressed like he was trying too hard to look casual. He didn't have a kid with him, which already made me wonder why he was even there. But he walked right into the house like he belonged. Didn't even look at me. I figured maybe he was someone's plus one. Or a coworker of Lauren's. Still weird, but I didn't say anything. Just kept grilling and watching the door. Lauren didn't come back out for a while. 10 minutes passed. Then 15. I told my brother to watch the food for a second, and I went inside to grab some more juice boxes. That was my excuse, anyway. Place was quiet. Too quiet for a house full of kids. I walked past the kitchen, didn't see anyone. Then I noticed the guest room door, halfway shut. Not locked. Just suspicious. I stood there for a second. Thought about opening it. But I didn't. I couldn't. Something in me didn't want to know. Not yet. I just backed up, went outside, and acted like everything was fine. A few minutes later, Lauren came out. Hair a little messed up, cheeks kind of red. Said she was helping Erica with the cake. Problem is, Erica was never inside. She'd been outside the whole time talking with the other moms. That's when it really hit me. I didn't say anything. Not at the party. Not in front of Max. I smiled, passed out pizza, took photos, made small talk with neighbors. All while my stomach felt like I'd swallowed a brick. And the worst part? Lauren acted like nothing happened. Like everything was totally fine. You ever been at your own kid's birthday party and felt like a stranger in your own life? That's how I felt that day. After I saw that guy walk into the house like he belonged there, and Lauren went missing, everything started to look different. I was still doing the whole host thing, smiling, pouring juice boxes, making jokes with the other dads. But inside, man, I was somewhere else entirely. And the crazy thing? I started noticing stuff I never would have thought twice about before. Like how Lauren was barely around. She wasn't running the show like she usually does. Normally, she's all over these parties, fixing decorations, wiping cake off kids' faces, making sure everyone's having a good time. But this time, she was always gone. I'd look up and she'd be missing. Then I'd see her come back out, walking across the patio like nothing happened, pretending she'd just been grabbing napkins or whatever. But every time she came back, she looked different. Her smile was off, too wide, or not wide enough. Sometimes she didn't smile at all. Her hair was a little messy, like she'd run her hands through it too many times. And her eyes? Distant, like she was somewhere else. I started tracking it without even meaning to. She'd disappear for 15, 20 minutes. Then show up suddenly with some excuse. Had to check the cupcakes. Erica needed help with her kid. I was fixing the gift table. But Erica was outside the whole time, and the gift table was fine. I know, because I arranged it myself. One time, I caught Lauren walking back into the yard and quickly adjusting her shirt, like she was trying to make herself look, I don't know, presentable? Put together? Like she forgot she was supposed to be someone's wife and someone's mom for a second. That's when it hit me. She wasn't just absent. She was playing a part. Showing up, hitting her mark, then slipping off stage again. And that guy, the one in the khaki shorts who didn't bring a kid, he was slipping in and out of the house just as much. It was subtle, but once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. There were moments when I caught them in the same shot. Her refilling the punch, him looking for the bathroom. They didn't talk much in front of anyone. Barely made eye contact. But you could feel it. You could feel that something was there. Like magnets pretending not to pull toward each other. And the weirdest part? When she came back out after being gone, it wasn't just her smile that was off. Her whole vibe had changed. Like she'd reset. Or worse, like she'd emptied something out of herself just to come back and fake being normal Lauren again. She'd brush a strand of hair behind her ear, ask someone if they were having fun, kneel next to Max and laugh too loud at one of his jokes. But underneath all that, she looked tired. like she was carrying something heavy that no one else could see. I remember one moment really clearly. I was bringing out a tray of hot dogs, and she was standing by the edge of the yard talking to that guy. They weren't standing too close. Nothing you could point to and say, aha. But their bodies were turned in toward each other, like they were trying hard to look casual. As soon as she saw me, she stepped back. Too fast. Gave me a little wave, like, oh hey babe, and then suddenly turned and went to check the cooler. She didn't even wait for me to get there. Just scattered. And the guy? He walked off in the opposite direction like he didn't know her at all. That's when I knew for sure. Whatever was going on, it wasn't innocent. I didn't say anything. Not at Max's birthday. Not with his friends running around with cake all over their faces and parents sipping lemonade under the canopy. I wasn't going to ruin the day for him. But inside, I felt like I was falling off a cliff, one slow inch at a time. Later, when things calmed down and most of the kids had gone home, I started packing up the folding chairs. That's when Erica came over. Quiet voice, hands full of paper plates. You okay? She asked. I shrugged. Yeah, just tired. She looked at me for a second like she didn't believe me. Then she said it. He shouldn't have come. And my heart just stopped. I didn't ask who she meant. I already knew. I wanted to say something back, but I couldn't. I just nodded. That was all I could manage. That night, after everyone left and Max was in bed, Lauren acted like nothing happened. Like it had been just another happy birthday. She poured herself a glass of wine, curled up on the couch, and asked if I wanted to watch a movie. I said I was tired and went upstairs. She didn't follow. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling again, listening to her laugh at something on her phone downstairs. And it hit me. That laugh used to be mine. It used to belong here, in this house, with this family. But now, it belonged to someone else. The day after the party, I woke up early. Didn't sleep much. My head was spinning all night. I kept thinking about all those little moments. Her slipping away, the way she looked when she came back, Erica's quiet comment. All of it just sat heavy in my chest. Lauren was still asleep when I got out of bed. She looked peaceful, like nothing was wrong. I stood there for a second, watching her. And then I turned around, walked downstairs, and made coffee. Not because I needed the caffeine. I just needed to keep my hands busy. That morning, everything felt different. Quieter. Colder. I sat at the kitchen table scrolling through my phone, staring at nothing. Then I opened my laptop. Started Googling stuff I never thought I'd Google. How to catch a cheating spouse. Signs your partner is lying. Hidden camera laws in my state. I wasn't proud of it. But I wasn't about to keep playing dumb while someone made a fool out of me in my own house. I didn't want revenge. I didn't want a scene. I wanted facts. That same day, while Lauren was out getting groceries, I drove across town to this sketchy little tech shop I'd passed 100 times, but never thought I'd walk into. The guy behind the counter didn't even blink when I told him what I was looking for. Discreet or legal? He asked. I raised an eyebrow. Let's keep it legal. He nodded and handed me a small black device. Looked like a USB stick, but it was a motion-activated camera with a decent mic. Tiny. No blinking lights. Perfect for something like this. I bought two. One for the living room. One for the guest room. It felt wrong. Like I was crossing some line. But then again, I hadn't been the one lying. I hadn't been the one disappearing into side rooms during a kid's party. So I told myself what I needed to hear. If she's not doing anything wrong, then I got nothing to worry about. That night, I waited until she was in the shower. Then I set them up. Quick. Clean. No mess. The next few days were weird. I went to work. Came home. Ate dinner. Watched TV with her. Smiled when I had to. Said all the right things. But inside, I was just waiting. Waiting for something to happen. It didn't take long. 3 days later, I came home early from work. Told the guys I wasn't feeling great. That part wasn't a lie. My stomach had been in knots since Saturday. When I walked in, the house was quiet. No music, no TV, no sound at all. Lauren wasn't downstairs. Her car was in the driveway. I moved slow, like I didn't want to spook whatever I was about to walk in on. And when I got to the hallway, I heard it. A voice. Low. Male. Coming from the guest room. I didn't go in. I didn't knock. I backed away, walked straight to the garage, and sat in my truck for 10 full minutes. Hands on the wheel. Heart thudding like I'd just run a mile. Then I pulled out my phone and opened the app that synced with the cameras. The feed had picked it up. Everything. Video. Audio. All of it. And yeah, it was him. Same guy from the party. They weren't doing anything physical. Not yet. But the way they were talking? It didn't leave much to the imagination. He was calling her babe. She laughed the same laugh I used to hear when we were first dating. Said stuff like, I miss you, and it's hard pretending all the time. And him? He said he hated sneaking around, that he wished she'd just leave me already. Lauren didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either. She just went quiet for a few seconds and then changed the subject. That silence. It was louder than anything else she could have said. I didn't watch the rest right away. I just sat there, phone in hand, feeling numb. It was like watching your house burn down while you're still standing in the living room. You know what's happening, but it still doesn't feel real. Later that night, I acted like I didn't know a thing. She asked how work was. I said it was fine. She kissed me goodnight like she always did. And as she rolled over and fell asleep next to me, I just stared at the ceiling again. Same ceiling, same bed, but suddenly, none of it felt like mine anymore. I always figured if I ever caught my wife cheating, I'd lose it. Yell. Break something. Maybe throw the guy through a wall if I had to. Turns out, I didn't do any of that. I went quiet. I don't know how to explain it, but once I had the proof, once I heard her whispering to that guy in our guest room like I didn't exist, something inside me just switched off. There was no fight, no begging, no drama, just a long, low silence in my chest that hasn't really gone away since. The next morning, Lauren was extra sweet. Made pancakes. Hugged me from behind in the kitchen like we were high school sweethearts again. Told me she was thinking maybe we could do a little weekend getaway next month, just the two of us. I looked her right in the eye, smiled, and said, sounds good. She kissed me and went off to school. I wiped syrup off my plate and started making a list. Not a grocery list. Not a to-do list. A list of everything I needed to do before this exploded. I wasn't going to confront her until I had everything in order. The finances, the legal stuff, a solid plan for Max, a place to land when the dust cleared. I'd seen too many guys crash and burn by going off too early. I wasn't going to be one of them. So I played along. I was the husband again. The regular, quiet, supportive husband. And she started letting her guard down even more. That week, the guy showed up again twice. The first time, I just missed him because I stayed at work a little longer. The second time, I watched the camera feed from my phone in the parking lot of a Home Depot, pretending to shop for mulch while my wife snuck her boyfriend through our side door like it was a hotel entrance. They didn't talk much that time. She pulled him into the room fast, like she couldn't wait. I'll spare the details. I didn't watch the whole thing, just enough to confirm what I already knew. The hardest part? Coming home 2 hours later and pretending I didn't know. I walked into the kitchen. She was stirring spaghetti like it was just another Tuesday night. I kissed her on the cheek. She smiled. I went upstairs and took the world's coldest shower. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I didn't punch the wall. I just stared at the tile and let the water hit me while my brain sorted through every memory like a filing cabinet, trying to figure out when things really started falling apart. And when I stopped being her husband and started being a placeholder. That weekend, we had a neighborhood barbecue. Max was playing with his friends. I was standing next to the grill again. Same apron, same setup, different energy. And guess who showed up? Yep, him. Lauren introduced him to a few people as a friend from the gym. I almost laughed out loud. The guy didn't even look like he'd ever touched a barbell. I kept my cool. Didn't even make eye contact. Just nodded when she said his name, like I'd never seen him before. He gave me this awkward little smile, like he was nervous I'd figure it out. Too late, buddy. Way too late. And the wild thing? They thought they were being slick. Standing apart. Taking turns going inside. Not touching. But when two people want each other that bad, they leak energy. You can feel it. Everyone can. I caught Erica looking at them a few times. She didn't say anything, but her face said enough. She knew, or at least strongly suspected. And if she did, maybe others did too. But no one said a word. That's the thing about suburbs. Everyone sees, but no one talks. Not until it's safe. When we got home that night, Lauren crashed early. Said she was exhausted. I lay in bed staring at the back of her head, wondering how she could sleep so peacefully while I was wide awake next to her, knowing what I knew. That's when I realized something. This wasn't about cheating anymore. This was about disrespect. Lying is one thing. Everyone lies in small ways. But sneaking someone into our house, into the space we built for our family, that's something else. That's spitting in the face of everything we ever were. And yeah, maybe we weren't perfect. Maybe we drifted a little. But I never stopped being loyal. Never stopped showing up. Never once gave her a reason to think I wasn't on her side. But now? Now I was done playing nice. Not loud. Not messy. Just done. I started taking photos of everything. Saving texts. Pulling bank statements. Looking at my legal options. I even booked a consultation with a divorce attorney Tuesday at 11 a.m. Lauren still doesn't know. But she's going to. And when she does, I won't be the angry husband yelling in the driveway. I'll be the guy who saw it coming. Who waited. Who planned. And who walked away without looking back. So Tuesday rolled around, and I went to the lawyer. Nice guy. Clean office. Firm handshake. He asked me all the usual stuff. How long we'd been married, if we had a kid, joint accounts, house in both names, that sort of thing. Then came the hard part, explaining why I was there. I told him the basics. My wife was seeing someone else. I had proof, video, audio, timestamps. I wasn't looking for revenge, just a clean exit. Something that protected me and my son. He nodded along, very calm and professional. Then he said something that stuck with me. The cheating's bad, but the disrespect? That's what you're going to remember. He wasn't wrong. Before I left, he gave me a folder, stuff to review, steps to take, things to start preparing if I was serious about filing. Spoiler, I was. Now, here's where it gets weird. That night, Lauren was acting strange. Not her usual guilty, but hiding it strange. More like nervous, fidgety, checking her phone, then putting it down, then picking it up again, over and over. I figured maybe she knew something was up, but she didn't say anything, and I didn't either. I played it cool, ate dinner, cleaned up, told her I was going to watch a game in the garage. And that's where I was when the text came through, not to her phone, but to mine, from an unknown number. Just said, "You don't know the half of it. Check the storage unit." At first, I thought it was spam, or maybe some scammer trying to stir things up. But then I remembered, we do have a storage unit. One we rented together 2 years ago when we were decluttering the house. Except I hadn't been there in over a year. Lauren was the one who handled all the payments, keys, everything. My stomach dropped. Next day, I left work early again. Told my boss I had a family thing. Drove across town, found the storage facility. Gave them my name and ID. The guy handed me a key card and said, Unit 314, down the left side. When I opened the door, I didn't know what I expected. Old furniture? Baby clothes? Holiday decorations? What I didn't expect was what I actually saw. Suitcases. Labeled. One said, Max, Summer. The other said, Important Docs. And then there was a black duffel bag full of cash. Not a ton, but more than a couple thousand. Maybe 6, 7 grand. In small bills. And under that, a prepaid phone. Still in the plastic. I stood there staring at it like it might explode. And that's when I realized. She wasn't just cheating. She was planning to leave. Not just me. She was planning to take Max and vanish. I dug through the box labeled Docs. It had birth certificates, passports, social security cards, even our marriage license. Everything you'd need to start over. Some of it had his name on it, the guy she was sneaking into our house. A fake lease. An application for a P.O. box in another state. Photos of a rental cabin in North Carolina. I felt sick. Like I'd been punched straight in the ribs, but my body hadn't caught up yet. I took pictures of everything. Every paper, every bag, every label. Locked the unit back up. Drove home in dead silence. That night, I sat across from Lauren at the dinner table and watched her smile through a glass of wine like she hadn't spent the last few months building an escape plan behind my back. She even said, we should take Max to the lake this weekend. Just us. Like she wasn't literally packing up to disappear with him without telling me a damn thing. I nodded. Sounds nice. But inside, I was already flipping the switch. See, this wasn't just infidelity anymore. This was custody. This was fraud. This was war. After I saw what was in that storage unit, I didn't sleep much. Just sat in the garage that night, in the dark, door cracked open, drinking warm Coke out of the can and staring at nothing. The world was quiet, but my head was loud. I mean, I knew Lauren was cheating. I'd accepted that part already. But what I didn't expect was how far she'd gone. Bags packed. Cash hidden. Fake address. Birth certificates. Our son's name on a suitcase like he was just part of the luggage. She was planning to leave and take Max with her. No warning. No conversation. Nothing. Just poof, gone. And the worst part? She was doing it all while eating dinner across from me, sleeping in our bed, asking me if I wanted garlic bread with the spaghetti. That kind of betrayal hits different. It's not just about the affair anymore. This was something else. This was someone I trusted with my whole life, making plans behind my back like I was just some guy she used to know. So yeah, I got quiet. Real quiet. But not weak. I didn't explode. I didn't scream or throw her stuff on the lawn. That would have just given her an excuse to twist the story and play the victim. No way. I wasn't handing her that power. Instead, I started planning. Step 1. Get the right help. I called the divorce lawyer I'd met the week before. Told him the whole story. The cameras, the cheating, the storage unit, the fake lease, the cash, the documents. All of it. He didn't even flinch. He just said, okay. Now we stop her before she runs. He walked me through what we needed to do. File for custody, quietly get a temporary order so she couldn't leave the state with Max, and gather every single piece of evidence we had. It wasn't just about divorce anymore. This was a custody issue now. Step 2. Document everything. I printed screenshots of the storage unit video, took photos of the suitcases, copied every document I could find, passports, IDs, even the rental agreement for the place she was planning to move to. I started recording our conversations too, just casual stuff. Me asking simple questions like, have you been stressed lately? Or thinking about traveling with Max anytime soon? She had no idea I was saving it all. In my state, I only needed one person's consent, mine, to record. So it was legal. Not sneaky. Just smart. Step 3. Stay calm. Stay invisible. This part was the hardest. Pretending everything was normal. Lauren kept doing her usual routine. Making dinner, helping Max with homework, putting on a show at bedtime like nothing was wrong. She'd smile across the dinner table and ask if I wanted to take a weekend trip together. I smiled back and said, sure. Inside, I wanted to scream. But I knew that if she got even a whiff that I knew what she was planning, she'd run faster than I could react. And I couldn't risk that. Not with Max. So I played dumb. Every day. Every night. Until she slipped. It was a Thursday night. I fell asleep on the couch, but really, I was just waiting. Around 10:30, she took her wine glass outside onto the patio and sat with her phone. That's when I heard her whispering. At first, I thought she was scrolling social media. But then I heard her say something. She was on a call. With him. I cracked the sliding door open just enough to hear. She didn't know I was listening. She told him she was almost packed. Said she was thinking of just telling Max they were going to the lake for the weekend, then driving south instead. She said it like she was ordering a coffee. No emotion. No guilt. Just planning. That was the last straw. Next morning, I made 2 calls. One to my lawyer, told him it was go time. The other to my sister. She's Max's godmother and lives 10 minutes away. I told her everything. She was shocked, but she said, whatever you need, I'm here. I finally had my side lined up. I wasn't going to lose my son because I was too slow, too nice, or too trusting. Those days were over. Lauren still has no clue. She still thinks I'm the quiet husband who's too busy with work to notice the little things. She thinks she's got time. That she can slip away on a weekend and vanish before the dust settles. But what she doesn't know, I've already filed. We've got an emergency custody order being reviewed. She can't legally leave the state with Max once it's approved. Not without my consent. Not anymore. And every time she lies to my face, I smile a little wider. Because now, she's the one in the dark. Saturday morning started like any other weekend in our house. Cartoons for Max cereal. Coffee. Sunlight through the kitchen blinds. Lauren was acting normal, cheerful, even. Making French toast like she didn't have a U-Haul plan waiting in her back pocket. I played along. Sat at the table. Ate slow. Told Max we might go to the park later. I already knew we weren't. I'd gotten a call from my lawyer the night before. The emergency custody order had been approved. It wasn't permanent yet, but it was enough. Enough to legally stop Lauren from taking Max across state lines. All I had to do now was wait. And man, I didn't have to wait long. Around 11:30, Lauren started getting weird. Checking her phone a lot. Walking around the house like she was taking inventory. Asking Max if he wanted to help her pack for the lake. Lake. Right. She even had the nerve to ask me if I'd mind staying back. Said she wanted some one-on-one time with Max. Just a little weekend getaway, she claimed. We'll be back Monday, she smiled. My heart was pounding, but my face didn't move an inch. Sure, I said. Sounds nice. She smiled, kissed me on the cheek, and went upstairs to grab her things. I grabbed my phone and stepped out to the garage. Called my sister. It's happening. She was already waiting in her car, parked 2 blocks away like we planned. I told her to give it 10 more minutes, then pull into the driveway. Then I called my lawyer. Told him we were about to go live. And just like that, it was go time. Lauren came downstairs a few minutes later, suitcase in one hand, Max's backpack in the other. Max was wearing his little hoodie and holding his stuffed dinosaur. He looked excited. He had no idea what was going on. She looked at me and said, "We'll be back Monday, okay?" I nodded. "Drive safe." She smiled. And then the doorbell rang. She froze. I opened the door, and there was my sister, standing with a calm face, holding her car keys and a manila envelope. "Hi," she said to Lauren. "Hey, Max, want to come hang out with me for a bit? I got movies and snacks." Max lit up. "Yeah." Lauren blinked. "Wait, what?" I looked right at her. "You're not taking him," I said. "There's a court order. You've been served." I handed her the envelope. She stared at it like it was a snake. What is this?" "It's a custody order," I said. "You're not leaving this state with my son. Not today. Not ever. Not without going through the court." She started to speak, but I cut her off. "You lied. You packed. You had a fake lease. A storage unit. Cash. And you were about to take our kid without saying a word." Her face changed fast. That fake calm slipped right off her. "I wasn't going to steal him, Nate. You were about to vanish with him. It was just a weekend trip." With a bag full of cash and his birth certificate? She opened her mouth again, but no words came out. And for the first time in this whole mess, she looked scared. Not angry. Not defensive. Just scared. Max was already walking toward my sister's car. He didn't even look back. My sister gave me a look, that quiet, "You okay?" look, and I nodded. She drove off with him, and I stood there in the doorway while Lauren tried to figure out what to say. "You recorded me?" she asked finally. "Yeah," I said. "And I watched you sneak that guy into our house. I listened while you planned your little escape. You don't get to act shocked now. You went through my stuff. You had a second life from me. Don't start talking about privacy." She sat down on the bottom step of the stairs and just stared at the floor. Didn't cry. Didn't yell. Just stared. Like it was finally sinking in that this wasn't going to end the way she thought. The next couple hours were quiet. Weirdly quiet. She didn't pack. Didn't storm off. She stayed in the house, but barely said a word. I stayed outside. Called the lawyer again. Told him it went down clean. He said, "You did everything right. Now we just hold the line." And that's exactly what I did. It's been a few days since that moment, and Lauren's been a ghost. She knows she lost control of the situation. She doesn't even try to argue anymore. She's been staying in the guest room. I told her she can stay until we get the paperwork moving, but Max is with me. She can see him supervised. Short visits. That's what the court allows for now. She didn't fight it. And me? I've never felt more tired or more certain. She thought she was playing chess. Turns out, I was just quiet while she walked into her own trap. It's been a couple of months since everything went down. The house is quiet now. Not in a sad way, just peaceful. Max is here with me full time. He's doing all right. Better than I expected, honestly. He still talks about his mom sometimes, and I let him. I don't badmouth her. I just tell him what he needs to know, and I make sure he knows I'm not going anywhere. Lauren moved out a few weeks ago. We signed all the papers. The divorce is done. The custody agreement too. She gets to see Max, but it's on a schedule. Nothing she controls anymore. She didn't fight it. Not really. I think she knew she messed up too much to fix it. And me? I'm not angry anymore. Don't get me wrong, I was hurt, confused, pissed off. But now, I'm just done with it. I've got too much to take care of to keep holding on to that weight. I still think about it sometimes, how she lied, how she almost took off with our son like I was just some side note in her life. That stings. But the feeling's not as sharp now. Just a dull reminder of what I made it through. Most days, I wake up early, get Max ready for school, go to work, make dinner, clean up. Nothing fancy. But it feels solid. Real. And that's what I needed. She made her choices. I made mine. She left. I stayed. I kept the house. I kept my son. And most of all, I kept my dignity. That matters more than anything. Max and I are figuring it out, day by day. Some days are heavy, some are just normal. But they're ours. And honestly, that's enough for me.